Okay, everyone, the MOWG Pro developers have been able to get back on it now that they're done with their whole Microsoft Office 365 fiasco and all the bug fixes there. He's finally able to breathe and get more time into this. So we've been able to start to catch up with our list of upgrades that we want, and there is currently now a MOWG Pro version 2.6, and it addresses two of the what do I want to say? Two of the things that we considered high priority, and you're going to like these. These are nice fixes right here. They're going to make life pretty cool. So let me just show you through them real quick. If we open up MOWG Pro, pretty much looks the same. And of course, we could open it from the profile here, except, yeah, that fix hasn't been added yet. You still have to hit the load button at the bottom and load it. But that's going to come to an end here pretty soon. That'll be one of the next updates. Let me just show you what we have. If I go into my V3 folder and I just open the profile, I just happen to put it here. Just slimmed it down to be able to show you what's going on more easily. All right, so here we have it. This is just the MOWG V3 files for uploading. Then I got the index, the var sheet, the unique vars, and then I got this profile here. And then I got a batch file that runs the profile. So I'm just going to kind of show you what's going on. Two upgrades. One of them is invisible. It looks the same as it always has, except that what it does now is allow you to change the var sheet without losing the URL breakdown. And I do think the hairs on a bunch of the backs of your necks probably just stood up. Come again, you're saying? Yes. Awesome, 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 awesome. We finally reached a point where we decided it's okay to leave the URL breakdown in when you switch var sheets, because these days people are making adjustments and making versions of their var sheets for different runs all the time. So let me just show you if I have this now, and the next thing you're going to see already, and that's this: keywords and storing them. And you'll see how that works pretty soon. I'll explain that in a minute, but let me just go through the first part. Say I'm doing a project, who knows, calling it blue flowers, whatever it is, and I got my URL breakdown, which wonderfully we can turn keywords off or on in any combination, but what you're used to seeing right now, key value format. Here we have it, URL breakdown, save. So let me go back. Now let's say I wanted to create my version of the thing, and so I make a copy of my var sheet and paste it, and I want to make it something like rename, and I want to say blue flowers, okay? And then I make another copy, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to call it like red flowers. Whoops, except I missed rename, red flowers. All right, so I got a couple of more projects here. I might run them on the same profile or a different profile, or just save the profile differently, but take a look. Here we go. I can browse and grab my blue flowers CSV file, hit next, and the URL breakdown is still there, and yes, it will process indeed. Okay, and that means that now what can I do? I can also save this project as, and I might just call it something like well, blue flowers in this case, right? Now I'm also going to save it as red flowers, okay, for my other project, whatever that is, except in that case now let me grab the red flowers, okay, save, and guess what, the URL breakdown is still there. Okay, notice I didn't make any changes to the vars. I didn't open them and add in new vars, but I can now. That's just it. I mean, now the URL breakdown's already done for whatever's done. So it's good to go. So I can just load my projects and check them out. Blue flowers, that's correct. Load red flowers, and that's correct. And so, of course, you know, I might do red flowers, right? And if I'm going to upload, I'm going to want to make sure it says red flowers. But you see how much faster it's going to be able to create multiple projects. And for those of you who are, you're just the power players that know what you're doing, if you're going to create your variations on the CSV file for geo-targeting by state or anything, and you want to create a bunch of CSV files like Illinois dash red flowers, whatever it is, Illinois dash keyword, and then you got Michigan dash, California dash, Ohio dash, whatever it is, and you're doing all the geo-targeting for each of those individually, before you would have been thinking, oh, that's going to be a pain because I got to do the URL breakdown every single time. Not anymore. And it does work with the batch file. Everything's straight. You don't need to go refresh vars or anything like that to get it to work. Okay, that's the first one. The first one is this URL, or the URL breakdown, this thing here, does not vanish when you switch a CSV file. And of course, if you want to make copies of the index file because you're going to do one for, let's say, Bob, and all you want to change on that might be the stack counter coding for Bob, okay? And then you want to make a copy of that for Ann, okay, Ann's pages, whatever that means to you, anything like that. And so Ann's got red flowers, Bob's got blue flowers. What do I know? So I'm on red flowers. I'm going to grab Ann, save that, and that'll have her stack counter coding. You know, I just simply adjust the stack counter coding on her page, okay, to be different than the stack counter coding on the other page, that kind of thing. All right, so with that having been said, I can absolutely do this now. I can load up my blue flowers and I can make this Bob. And so you can go through all these, you can go changing these all you want and make your variations all you want, project by project, because once you have your URL breakdown figured out in the first place and save it, then if you switch to a new CSV file, we are assuming that you understand what you're doing at this point and that they're going to match up. Of course, if you just completely made a copy of the profile that had that URL breakdown, and then you did an entirely different project that has entirely different vars, then when you go to the next and you go to hit process, you're going to get errors about vars that should not be here because they don't exist, you know, things like that. But that's a whole different thing than just the notion of keeping the URL breakdown intact. Okay, now that I've said that, let me say the next thing. And I've just got it set for 50 pages and do not upload long enough to be able to just show you what's going on. By the way, 50 pages is nowhere near enough. 200 is needed at least. Okay, if you have a menu, your menu in your CSV file has like 1,000 entries, then you're going to need at least 2,000 pages. Just keep that in mind. 200 is like bare minimum when you're producing. But that's when you're sure that the run is done and you just did some fast files on your computer to make sure it works. And now you're ready to change it to 200 because you're going to upload. So you would change it to at least 200 if you're actually going to upload. By the way, a lot of you guys have been asking me, hey, how come your MOWG-sitemap.html file doesn't work when everything else does? And I find out that you're uploading separately on FileZilla because it's faster. Do not do that. You need to use the MOWG Pro to do the uploading well, for two reasons. One, MOWG Pro has to look up the MOWG sitemap that is on your website with whatever projects you left on it. Maybe you got rid of some because they're things you're not selling anymore, or they were runs that you realized weren't good, and so you downloaded your MOWG sitemap.html file and you manually adjusted it and re-uploaded it. Well, the MOWG Pro cannot know what is on your MOWG-sitemap.html file. So it cannot just create a perfect new one that has all your old runs on it. When you connect, one thing it does is download the MOWG sitemap.html file that does exist, if it does, on your website. Then it adds the link to the new project if you're doing a new project. And if you're doing an old project, if you're just putting more pages into an old project, it will also go to the old sitemaps in that project, if they exist, and renumber them so that it can make room for the new sitemap. So yes, you really need to get into the habit of using the MOWG Pro's uploading feature and not bypass it with FileZilla. You're going to wind up with stacks of orphan links. You're going to wind up with no MOWG sitemap.html that connects it all to your main page, and the pages aren't going to rank, or they're going to appear and then disappear later when Google comes back through and goes, wait a minute, they're not connected properly, so I got to take them back down. That kind of stuff. And you should know that orphan links should not be indexed by Google. That's how Google sees it. If it cannot reach a page from the front page of your website somehow through a series of visible clicks that a human can physically see and click on, somebody needs to be able to click to any page from your home page through some series of clicks. And if there is a break in there anywhere, then the pages that cannot be reached get pulled out of the index. Usually when Google catches on, it pulls them out of the index. All right, now that you know that, what do we have next? You get to define whatever you think the keyword should be for your run. Of course, that's pretty much arbitrary. It's what do you think the keyword should be? And so maybe I will say this. All right, when I'm producing my pages, I want to save the geo target with the flowers in this case, the main keywords. So I want var6 and var2. Okay. Now, where am I going to store it? You can create your folder name and browse. You can just go create it. So, you can go to your C drive, okay, computer, C drive, open that thing up if you need to, go to wherever you want, where you want the keywords to go, like MOWG demo, and then inside there, the V3 folder, and then inside there, what do you want the keyword folder to be? If it doesn't exist, then just do this, highlight the V3, for example, or wherever you want to put this inside, and make a new folder. Just call it keywords. Okay, and that could be client. If you're saving all your client runs inside your V3 folder, so you got a folder called clients, highlight that, then make a new folder called keywords inside there, or it could be client 1, client 2, client 3, and hit OK. The point is that your keywords are saved wherever you save for this profile. So if you're doing profiles for different people, just save the different keywords to the different clients folders. And you don't have to call it keywords, call it anything you want. Nonetheless, now it will create that folder because it does not or did not exist. It just created it now. It's still empty. Notice how it just created it. All right, and so I can hit save. And from now on, it's going to remember what my choices were. So that means even if I close it, all right, if I go opening it again, okay, load it up. I forget which one I was on actually. That was another one. All right, because if I load up, what was I on? Blue flowers or red flowers? All right. Well, it should save them. And I think it does. So let me just kind of go back through and make sure I do this right so I get this thing saved right. And if not, then we'll just deal with it. It's some small glitch or something like that. Oh, I'll be danged. It really is. Oh, it's driving me nuts now because it was working before. Anyway, here's how it works. So just go select what you want for keywords and where you want to store it. Now when you hit process, yeah, so if you guys are getting a problem with that, we'll have it fixed really soon. If you're getting a problem with that. Here's the point. In the keywords folder, okay, let me close this now so you can kind of focus on this. It has the date time stamped keyword columns. Okay, and we were thinking for a long time, how do we want to store keywords? And we thought it was extremely important to save them as separate columns. Any idea why? Because what kind of keyword do you want to look up on Google front page results? Do you want to see Akron, Ohio flowers, Akron, Ohio bouquets, Albuquerque, New Mexico bouquets? What about the flip side? And so you might want flowers Akron, bouquets Akron. So watch this trick. I can do what? I can make a copy of this thing. I can paste it over here. Okay, and except that I can rearrange the order. I can cut this one and stick it on the other side. So now I've got two stacks. There's one stack, there's the other stack. Those of you familiar with the toolbar, you can use the articles macro to auto concatenate these things. So watch, I'll just hit articles and then I will just select two columns max, hit submit, boom. And what did it do? It made it all into one with the space between the geo target and the keyword in every case. That's correct. By the way, yes, you can get rid of that top header because you're not going to need it, var6, var2. All right, but then I can hit it again and I can do this and I can hit submit and that one's done. What can I do with this now? I can cut it and I can paste it here. Boom. So what have I got? I've got all the combinations both ways, where the keyword's in the beginning and the keywords at the end. So this I can just save, and whatever rank checker tool, we don't have one now, you want to use, you can do that. And if you want to just simply rename it to who knows what, blue flowers dash one dot say txt, right? If you need to do that, well, there you have it. There they are. All right. And they're all there. Everything is there. So you can start checking front page results of Google, whether you do it manually or whether you do it with a rank checker. Whoops. Then the fact of the matter is this list at least is easy to get to and whip through quickly. Okay. That's cool. Now, let me show you what else that means. Okay. Because this is also cool. Let me open this thing again. And again, I don't even know which one I was on. Save. Next. All right, now it's got Akron, Ohio flowers. Okay. We'll see. Maybe there's no issue with it, or there's just some silly little glitch where you have to do it twice and then it works. We'll figure it out. All right. Say I want to get some other combination in there. Not just Akron, Ohio flowers. Maybe I want something like flowers provider or flowers services. You know, maybe I want Akron, Ohio services, and who knows why you would. But again, these are whatever you make of them. But anyway, so I can do that. Let's say services was important, so I'm going to check mark that too. That's three I've check marked. Saving them here, save, process, and it creates them. And then guess what I'll see? Let's take a look at what that looks like. All right, in my keywords, here we go. That's the new date timestamp keyword folder. Okay, for each one you do. Now I got three. Now think about the combinations you can pull off here. I might say I want to make kind of like a copy of this. Maybe like this. Here's maybe what I want to do. Flowers services would be another sort of thing I want to check on. Paste. And then I also want to do something like, and let's just say Akron, Ohio services, that list. So I can copy that, just stick it out here and hit paste and get rid of the middle, delete. Okay. And then in the first case, and then of course I just want Akron, Ohio flowers, so I can grab that and paste it out here. And again, I can get rid of this top line because I don't need it. Delete. All right, what can I do now? Keep in mind one thing. You cannot do this bit all three at once, but you can do two at a time. So watch. MOWG toolbar, articles, two, submit, and now that that's done, guess what? I have two here. And look, by the way, yeah, it's kept everything. But now I can concatenate it with this one in the next step. Articles, two, submit. There. Now that's done. That's how you get three together. And that one's done. Now while I'm at it, articles, that one, submit. And then articles, that one, submit. And let's see where we're at. Oh, come on. Get going. Yeah. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, that's still. So articles, that one, submit. And there you have it. Okay? So as you'd imagine, now I got the fun bit here. I got to figure out how to do it, but I can do it. I can cut this whole thing, you know, I can come down and paste it. That way now I can cut this whole thing. Yep, cut. I can come down and paste it. Boom. And then I can finally take this last one, cut, and I can come down and paste it. And then just to make sure I don't somehow have blanks in these columns in case I want to translate it to something else, I'll just delete all that. Boom. Got it? So now I got my list here, and it's even more involved. There's 200 different front page results I can check for any run. Okay? Now, anybody says, what about dupes? You know, what if you want to clean up the list even more? Watch this one. I need to give it a header row number, something, insert. So I'll just say, like, one. I don't care. Something for a header name. There has to be something here. Or at least there just should be. Here's what I'm going to do. Data. This right here. And I want to say advanced filter. And I can say copy the list to another location. Copy to, click that guy right there, that icon. Hit where you're going to copy it to, and then hit it again to drop it back down. Unique records only. Bam. There we go. So why did I need this? So that it didn't think that was the name of the header. Okay, I didn't want to lose that or get it doubled up, but there you go. Delete. Now, what have I got? How good was that, by the way? Aha, that's where the dupes are, is just this one. It's in there more than once. So I know that this is what I want, that list. So I'm going to delete everything that came before it now. And whoops, and this is what I was after. Can double click that to raise it out, but I have it now. It's all there. Okay. All right. So I can save that. Okay. And close that. All right, and I can rename that to what I want. I can say whatever else, red flowers dash 2, and it could be .csv or .txt or whatever you want it to be, right? And there you have it. I've got all my keywords. I can go running it through any rank checker I know of or one that we wind up building later, unless it turns out to be a hurdle, in which case we'll go find a good one. There has to be one out there. And no matter what, this makes it easier for you to know the keywords you ought to be showing up for, because these are the ones that the pages were produced based on, right? So these are good lists that you can use to check. And so you can check however you want to check, but you can do that. You can formulate your keyword lists now. Okay, now last note I want to make, just because people do this a lot, they'll get in there and they'll go to Google, okay, boom, and they'll say, hey, I keep doing a check on the same keywords I was after. Who knows what it was? Blue flowers. And here's what I hear. And maybe they'll even have something for that, right? It'll be like, oh, what do I know? Akron, Ohio is like what we've been saying. Blue flowers, or Ohio blue flowers, or something like that. And guys will just say, hey man, I was ranking, I was up here, and now I'm gone. Why? These are long tail keywords. And I see that, and every time I see it, unless they did something wrong, like they didn't connect the MOWG sitemap to their front page or something, and Google had to drop a bunch of their pages because they were not connected somehow. You know, using FileZilla causes that problem. If you put new pages in the same folders and you upload the new sitemap to overwrite the old sitemap for that folder, the related stuff, right? Then the old links are lost. They should be renumbered and added to the new sitemap, which is what the MOWG Pro knows how to do 100% automatically when you use the MOWG Pro for uploading all your pages. Okay. Otherwise, you just orphaned all the pages you had in the first project. So if you did 1,000 pages in the first project or whatever you did, then if you do 1,000 pages into that same project folder later, manually, like with FileZilla, then you lost the linkage to the first 1,000 pages, maybe. And Google will have to drop a bunch of your pages off. Okay? Now, when people say, I don't show up on the front page anymore, I used to, that's one reason why. Yeah, make sure that your MOWG-sitemap.html does connect to your front page and keep track of all your projects. So use MOWG Pro for the job. Second thing, say you did, say all that is done. So then when people say, hey, I'm not showing up for the long tails I used to, but now I don't. After checking back a week later, now I don't. Here's why. One, you are signed into Google. Get signed out, because when you sign in, it completely redoes the way it shows you results anyway. So it's skewed, so you're not seeing what everyone else is seeing, so get signed out. The second thing you also need to do is delete your temp files. Tools, internet options, delete. Get rid of temp files and cookies at least. Even history and download history if you want. That's just wise anyway. Delete it. And you need to do that because, and then restart the browser, right? When it's done, and it'll be done anyway. These days it runs, even if you close it, it'll still do it. But whatever the case is, you got to do that, because if you don't do that, then here's the way Google understands it, and this also skews results. If you keep doing the same search all the time, Akron, Ohio, blue flowers, then what Google starts to realize is if you're not clicking on anything, you're just checking your results, or you're only clicking on one thing, then it's saying, well, you must be looking for something else by now that we're not showing you. And so it intentionally reorganizes the results on your computer only. It brings page 2 stuff to page 1. It dumps the page 1 stuff down. It just shows you a different assortment of results, because if you keep doing the same search, it's guessing you're not seeing what you're looking for, and you keep checking back for new possibilities. Okay? And so it will skew your results. And the only way to kill that is to sign out and clear your temp files and your cookies. Okay? And that'll take care of that issue. All right, finally, if you're on the MOWG video training page, and this is what I mean by that. If you go to mowg-crew.com/MOWG-pro, with or without the slash, it's the same thing. If you go here, There will be and I'll put it down probably unless I put it up so I can say new. There will be a video down here saying MOWG Pro version 2.6 updates, 2 new improvements, whatever. It'll be down here. And when you click on that link, I don't have it up yet. I'm putting it up now. That's what this video is. When you click on that link, then it'll have the download for the MOWG Pro version 2.6 in case you don't already have it. Just like it did with the 2.5. When you went here, you could download the 2.5 with the MOWG Toolbar V17.2. Now, what I'm going to have is the new page with the version 2.6, and you download the MOWG Pro version 2.6 with the MOWG Toolbar version 17.2. Toolbar hasn't changed since this update. So if you already installed it, you don't need to reinstall it because it's the same thing. If you have not installed it yet, you can install it. Alright, so that's where you find the updated MOWG Pro version, and this of course is that video for what the updates are all about. So the link will be up here soon. By the way, 2 new things. On the V4, I had a bunch of people asking questions that were really pretty, like how do you fix broken links and stuff like that. And so I put this troubleshooter up for guys with standard questions like these for the V4. And that's been helpful for a lot of people, this right here. And then separately, I got a video up called Footprints. What footprints? People go asking about footprints. And so this I thought was interesting to help people really understand what you can do with MOWG Pro that you might not have thought of before. And of course, if you haven't seen some of the other stuff on this page, you're going to want to watch it. It's all neat stuff. There's a lot of neat stuff on this page. All right, there you go. That's the latest. So we've got V4 troubleshooting videos. We've got footprints. What footprints? That's new. And finally, and I'll probably put it down here to keep it all together, I'm going to have the MOWG Pro version 2.6 updates, and that's these. By the way, the reason they all stick is because each of the updates shown from one to the next do not include the updates from here. You really want to watch them all. There are individual updates in every case. And I just have people asking basic questions sometimes about the macros. This stuff is covered in these things. And functions of the MOWG Pro, they're covered in these things. Don't just think if I watch the version 2.5, I do not need to watch the version 2.1. You're just going to miss some information you could have otherwise had. And then finally, when people are talking about custom runs and stuff like that, right here, use the MOWG Pro and MOWG Toolbar to make a massive website. Okay, this is involved. It's busy. It's got a lot to it. But these are how you do those huge runs. The ones that sell for 2,500, 3,500. Some people sell big packages surrounding these for 30,000 to 60,000 each. Believe me, it's worth watching if you feel like going that far. If you're just thinking what comes after UAP, all this stuff. All right. Hope that helps you a lot. I think the last thing I want to make a note about is some people are having trouble when they're running the V4. They're using the new mode or the new menu generator in the toolbar. So they're hitting this. That creates a var 8001 to 8010 for the menu. But in the old style UAP V3, that menu for this thing here, the UAP V3, okay, then the menu used to be 2001 to 2010. Now, when we created this, we realized we didn't want to leave the numbers 2001 to 2010 because when people do custom runs on large pages, they can already have a var 2001 or 2002 or 2003. So when we created this, we realized it would be safer if we shoved the var numbers way up, somewhere just ridiculously high. So we made it 8001 to 8010. That's huge. And this way, when you generate the menu, it creates var 8001 through 8010 for the links. Now, if you already have 2001 through 2010, you're going to want to renumber those 8001 to 8010. You're going to want to do it on the CSV sheet where you see it, where it was 2001 to 2010. Just change all those numbers, 2001, 2002, 2003. Make it 8001, 8002, 8003. Most of you guys know how to do that. You would have seen this. Let me just do it real fast because I just think people need to see it real fast. Okay, 9, 10. This is how it looked. And so here's the quickest way to update it. make it var 8001, highlight and drag 8010. Okay, save it. All right, and therefore now when it's dealing with the menu generator, it knows the right columns, the ones where you had all the menu items in here from your menu that came before, with all the stuff in that, right? The root and everything that, okay, and everything that came after that, which of course you would normally need to break down here, and which the menu generator does for you now. Okay, now when you change from 8001 to 8010, then that means you also must do it where else? Well, I'll tell you. On the V3, go ahead and open the unique vars.csv and do it in there as well. Go find it or do an edit find, and you'll find it, var 2001, and override it here as well through 2010. Don't override anything else, okay? Normally you leave this thing alone, but you can do that. That'll help your profile know what's going on. Also open the index page, this thing, index.html, and update it here. Edit, find, and here's a quick way to do it. var 200, and you're going to replace all those, so it's really a control H. Okay, control H, which is replace, right? var 200 with var 800, and that'll cover all the cases of 2001, 2002, 2003. It'll cover all of them for 8001 now, 8002, 8003. Okay, except there's two more changes. One, you also have to get var 2010 to be replaced with var 8010, so replace all of that too. And then the final thing you're gonna need to do, change or look for var 199. Don't change it, just find next, and here's what it's gonna be. Since we did change var 200 to 800, it will have renumbered that one. That one will look like var 800, but it's right in between 199 and 201. Now that probably is wrong, right? And it is. That's the case where this really should have been var 200 because there is a var 200. So change that back. Okay? If you've done all those steps correctly, that's 3 of them, basically, and you open the profile, okay, whatever profile, and hit next and hit refresh vars, then it will have caught up with all that. So you updated it on the var sheet, you updated it on the unique vars wherever you had it. If you had multiple unique vars, multiple var sheets, go ahead and do it on all of them, and do it on all of your index pages that apply. Okay, and then just open the profile, refresh the vars, and you'll be good to go. Now you can use the menu generator, and you're not going to have any broken or mismatched vars or anything like that. And finally, this is cool. Let me show you. We don't have a CSV file in here anymore, right? Let me make sure this thing is not set to upload and it's still set on 50. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right, it is. All right. What's that mean? If I run the batch file, it's going to run that thing real quick. Yep, it's running the right one, and it's done. So now I do have my keywords folder, and that was the big question people were asking about, or would be asking about next, and that's, will it work with a batch file? And the answer is yes. So you're always keeping your time date stamped list, so you know which ones got done on the first run, the second run, the third run, because there's your date, right? 2012, August 29th, 6:25:40 p.m. Okay, and the next time that the run is done, you'll have a date for that, 2012 9:05, 6:25:40 p.m. or whatever it is. And so you can always track your progression, make any notes on these files as you go, whatever it is you want to do, to see where you're ranking and how well, and where you might be outranking Google Places, all that kind of thing. So that's, you still have to do it by hand, right? At the moment, when you have your keywords, and I already concatenated these, so you would still do this. Copy, go to Google. So you do it one at a time, okay? And let's just say you're on Google, and you paste it in, hit go, and you look to see if you're there. And if you are, make some mark, maybe whatever position you're on, like position 5 right now. And you go to the next keyword, copy it. So you would just start at the top of the list and do this, right? Until there is a rank checker solution. And that's like one of the next things that we're doing. And here I am, number 2, and so you put a number 2, whatever it is. Sorry. At least I should keep them together so you get the point. Nonetheless, that's what you're doing right now. Okay? And we're going to have that rank checker thing done here pretty soon. And so that's like one of the next things to come out. Might be a week or so. I think that's one of the next fixes, but we'll see. We've got a list of like 5 things. Oh boy. Okay, so there you go. There's the MOWG Pro version 2.6. You know where to get it on the video training page for the MOWG training topics. Okay. It'll be right here. Scroll down. It'll be down here, and it'll be the new MOWG Pro version 2.6 updates with the 2 improvements. All right, I think you guys are going to find that great. Between the keywords and the fact that you can swap out CSV files and HTML pages and not have to screw around with the URL breakdown, those of you who always were not looking forward to creating 50 var sheets that were differently organized because you're doing something huge for a client, and you took a deep breath and thought, man, 50 URL breakdowns, boy, I'm going to be good at URL breakdowns when I'm done with this, but whoo, it's going to take me hours. Now it doesn't take you hardly any time, right? Just copy them and then make copies of your profile and browse to select. Update all your profiles, and they're all done. URL breakdowns work. You don't even have to hit the refresh bars or anything. You can just go straight to the batch file, and it will work. And if you're saving your keywords, awesome. And it should be saving what keyword choices you made and where to. And it seems like it does, really. Like if I run it again, it should get all 3 of those, right? That's the point. So if I go running it again, it's going to close. And there's the latest one. And yes, it's got all 3 that I check marked. So it should be saving all that stuff fine anyway. All right, there you go, guys. Hope you find it interesting, and thank you for your support. Keep up your monthly subscriptions. Those of you on it, you get the free updates. Those of you that bought it all outright, you get the free updates. Just install it. All right, install to overwrite. People ask, do you need to uninstall the old one? The answer is no, you don't need to uninstall the old one. Take the 2.6 and install it. If you already have the toolbar, you already have it. Just install it. Use the same email. Use the same pass, and you're good to go. All right, I got to answer the phone. I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good one.